The Daily Mail reports that Ghislaine Maxwell visited the White House with Jeffrey Epstein in 1993. The visitor logs reportedly show Epstein stopped by 1600 Pennsylvania Avenue 17 times during the early years of the Clinton administration. Now, former President Clinton has maintained there was no connection between him and Epstein's alleged sex trafficking ring. This all comes as Day 5 of Ghislaine Maxwell's trial resumes in just a few hours. So for more on this, I want to bring in Mola Lenghi, who is outside of the courthouse in New York with the very latest. You have been in the courtroom listening to the testimony, Mola. Yesterday, we heard damning testimony from Jeffrey Epstein's former house manager about Ghislaine Maxwell. What did he say?
Yeah, that House Manager, Mola Lenghi, testified some potentially damaging, potentially important testimony yesterday from him for many reasons, but really two stand out, Anne-Marie. One, he corroborated testimony from Jane. As you remember, Jane is one of the four females who are testifying throughout this trial, who are accusing Maxwell of being central to Jeffrey Epstein's sex trafficking operation and even participating in some of the sexual abuse. Jane, of course, is her pseudonym. It's not her real name, but she testified earlier this week, and Lenghi was able to corroborate some of her testimony. Also, he put Maxwell at the center of Jeffrey Epstein's life, much as the prosecution claimed that she was. Of course, the defense is claiming that she was not. Prosecution saying that Maxwell was central to Jeffrey Epstein's sex trafficking operation, that she was a partner in crime, and of course the defense is saying that once the romantic relationship between Epstein and Maxwell ended, that she wasn't really so much in the picture anymore. Lenghi, the house manager and house cleaner, put her right in his life, saying that she was constantly around, that she was always around, that they would travel together, that they were jet setting together. He also painted a picture of Maxwell as sort of the laying down the ground rules at the house once she arrived, and kind of created a professional, more professional atmosphere is sort of how he put it. The rules were basically he was not allowed to see anything, hear anything, or talk about what went on at that house. As he put it, he was supposed to be deaf, blind, and dumb. He also confirmed a lot of Jane's testimony. When he met her, he said that she seemed to be young, that she was very young looking. He also recalled seeing Epstein's West Palm Beach estate. He recalled seeing her there without her parents, without her mother. He also recalled as being, in addition to being Epstein's house manager, he was also her driver. He was also Epstein's driver. He recalled driving Jane to the airport at least on one occasion and dropping her off so she could fly in Epstein's private jet. That Epstein liked to receive at least 3 massages a day, which is what Jane testified earlier this week. And of course, while Lenghi was not in the massage rooms with Epstein, he did have to clean up after, and he testified to finding sex toys in those massage rooms after cleaning up. He also testified to constantly seeing many girls, many girls is the way that he put it, and many women around the house and around the pool area, suntanning, really creating an atmosphere where women, I should say, and potentially girls, were always around Jeffrey Epstein's West Palm Beach estate.
Well, for someone who was not supposed to see anything, it sounds like he saw a lot. Do you know if the prosecution is done with him, or is he expected to take the stand again today?
He is expected to be back on the stand today for cross-examination by the defense, so we do expect to hear more from him today.
One expert witness testified yesterday about grooming, and we brought this up, that this is part of what Ghislaine Maxwell is accused of doing, of grooming these young girls. Can you explain just what that is for people who don't know, and why it's at the center of this case?
Yeah, grooming, as this expert testified yesterday, basically there are patterns to grooming that abusers perform on these victims, and that includes isolating a child, isolating a victim, gaining their trust, spoiling them, buying them things, buying them gifts, and by doing that you gain their trust, and also normalizing sexual conversations, normalizing sexual language, normalizing sexual behavior, and all of these things are, you package them together, and this is the process of grooming a young victim, essentially. And there are also types of girls that are targeted that the expert testified. Vulnerable girls, younger girls, girls who come from homes with financial problems, girls that come from single-parent homes or broken homes. There was also, so I should say that all of these things sort of together contribute to the process of grooming, as this expert testified, and a lot of these things match what Jane, the accuser who testified earlier this week, what she testified. This expert also talked about delayed disclosure, which is something that these victims a lot of times take many, many years to come forward, to tell law enforcement, to tell anybody about their stories. And this expert testified that that is not uncommon for victims to finally have the strength or put the pieces together or make sense, try to make sense of what happened, that it could take years. Of course, the defense here is claiming that the fact that this took years is for some of these victims to come forward, makes them uncredible. Perhaps even that they don't remember correctly, that their memories are faulty. But again, according to the expert, this delayed disclosure is something that's not uncommon, Anne Marie.
Very interesting, Mola. Thank you so much.